Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to UC Davis's Continuing in Professional Education's Project Management Certificate Information Session. My name is Jensen Reddy, and I am the Program Enrollment Coach for the Project Management Certificate Program. If we've had the chance to connect already, it's great to see you again. And if we haven't had a chance to meet, or if you'd like to meet after today's information session, please don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information will be available at the end of this presentation. We're going to have about 1 hour together today. We may not end up using that entire time, but I want to make sure to provide the full hour to answer any questions that anyone might have. And like I said before, hopefully you can all hear me today. If you have any issues with sound or if you have any issues viewing the slide deck I will be sharing today, please do not hesitate to submit a question through the Q&A function. And I'm going to do a quick check and make sure, okay, no one has submitted anything saying they can't hear me. So I'm hoping that means you can hear me. This is a webinar, so we will not be utilizing the raise your hand function of Zoom or unmuting our mics. But as you have questions throughout the presentation, feel free to use the Q&A function, and then we're going to have a dedicated time for that Q&A at the end. Here's a brief overview of today's agenda. First, we're going to go into job demand and program audience. We'll do an overview of the program. We'll look at how the program is structured, how to get started. We'll take a look at program financial information and a discount code that you will receive just for attending. Then we'll discuss a little bit about an external subsequent certification called the PMP exam and certification. And then we'll talk a little bit about job placement and networking opportunities. And then, like I mentioned before, we'll have a time at the end to address the Q&A. Once again, throughout the course of the presentation, please utilize the Q&A feature to submit any questions you may have at any point, and I will do my best to address them at the end of the presentation. So without further ado, let's start by defining project management by our program's definition. So our program is what we would consider industry agnostic, meaning that your courses are meant to apply to a broad array of industries. Wherever you are approaching project management from, this certificate program works equally well for any industry. Project managers serve a critical role in any industry. They are the leader, the integrator, the communicator, the people that are driving the successful delivery of projects. It's through these projects that organizations change and develop, making project managers the agents of change within organizations. As a project manager, it's important that you bring some characteristics to the table, including being adaptable and comfortable in changing environments as projects change and evolve, consistently utilizing and developing people skills in diverse groups, and understanding when and where to apply some of the toolkit and techniques that you'll get from this course. You may also see job titles like program manager or portfolio manager who manage groups of projects utilizing project management techniques. The quote on the right side of this slide is from the Project Management Institute, a professional organization for project management that sets the global standards and best practices for the field. The PMI has some great statistics to provide on what the career outlook is for project management. The Project Management Institute estimates that there are currently 90 million project management-oriented employees around the world. Similarly, they anticipate huge growth by 2030, expanding up to 25 million positions with an average of 2.3 million annual job openings. Half of these openings are driven by expansion, and the other half are driven by retirements, showcasing the massive expansion occurring in project management, but also demonstrating the longevity of project managers in their careers. Similarly, the Bureau of Labor Statistics tells us that they're anticipating a 7% growth rate for project management specialists from 2023 to 2033. And they tell us that the median annual wage for these roles is around $98,580. Of course, this number varies according to location, experience, and industry, but this is to give you an idea on the career outlook of what this program prepares you for. Before we get into the program overview, let's discuss a little bit about you, the audience. So who exactly is this certificate for? Well, we have three main audiences that we are serving with this certificate. So number one being current project managers seeking formal training and PMP certification. If you fall into this category, we're going to put a pin in PMP certification for now. We're going to discuss this in more detail later, as stated in the agenda. We'll talk about how this program fulfills the Project Management Institute's requirements for the PMP exam. And actually, I just got a question. Okay. I was just double checking the Q&A. I'm going to address that at the end. Um, or I'll address the questions at the end, but I just wanted to make sure it was not audio related. um, so as I was saying, we'll talk about more about the PMP at the end. Just to reiterate, our first audience are current project managers looking to fulfill the educational requirements for the PMP exam. Moving on, the second audience are individuals who don't have a formal background in project management, but are looking to explore a future in this field. And lastly, are the individuals who already have formal project management responsibilities in their career, but are looking for the toolkit and technique to improve their work. And of course, these three categories aren't inclusive of every individual starting point, but this program is designed with these three approaches in mind. And speaking of the program itself, we're going to get into a video in a second from one of the program instructors, Tony Oliver. First, I see, Lisa, that you raised your hand. If you have a question, please utilize the Q&A feature at the bottom. You can submit a question there, and I will address it at the end. But let's hear a little bit about the program from Tony.
My name is Tony Oliver, and I teach project management for UC Davis. I've been a project manager for roughly about 2 decades. My first role was with consulting. That had a component of project management. That led me to proper project management as my job title. And since then, regardless of what title I've had, whether business analyst or supply demand manager or marketing manager, there's always been a component of project management to the role. I teach because I've always enjoyed it. I've been doing this with the UC Davis for a couple of years, and I really enjoy the interaction with the students. I really enjoy talking about how they might have encountered project management in the past, regardless of whether they called it project management. We don't start with the assumption, again, that everybody is aware of everything in project management. What we try to do is take them out of their shell and highlight that what they have done connects to the greater components of project management. The fact that the UC Davis program is online. We have to recognize that it brings about a wealth of different backgrounds into the program. We don't have a cookie cutter sort of program whereby everybody comes from the same background and everybody is in the same class and then they walk away. The fact that they are able to engage with each other and interact with each other 24/7 is really one of the key strengths of the program. This is not the kind of thing that we do it, forget about it, we shelve it, and we walk away. No. Look at each project as an opportunity to learn and improve upon and get new skills.
Great. Well, with Tony having said that, I'd like to take a moment to introduce you to the instructors of the project management program. They're each in senior positions in their respective organizations and are real-world practitioners of project management in their full-time jobs. We pride ourselves on these instructors because as they've created and taught this course, they've been able to implement their real-world experience into the coursework itself. And that's what makes our program so great for ensuring that upon completion, you will be prepared to be a real-world project manager. Each of these instructors also represents different industries, which is what helps make our program industry agnostic. And it keeps it welcoming individuals from all over the business world. So they hold positions in industries from healthcare to IT consulting, which ensures that you get a broad understanding of project management. And now that we've introduced our instructors, let's do an overview of the program itself. Our certificate program is an approved training provider with the Project Management Institute. The academic credit earned from the certificate program counts toward professional development units, which is a requirement to sit for the PMP exam. Students who complete the entire certificate will earn more than enough to cover the 35-hour educational requirements from the Project Management Institute to sit for that exam. And I know I said we're going to talk about this more a little bit later, so we'll put a pin in it again, but these are two critical points for eligibility to sit for the PMP exam. Moving on, to access your courses, we use Canvas, a digital educational platform to help deliver the course materials, give you the ability to communicate with your instructors and your peers, and also to track your progress throughout the course. During the program, you'll have the opportunity to network with instructors, which is a great time to learn more about their real-world experience with project management and what they do in their full-time jobs. Sorry, I'm having to adapt with those audio issues I mentioned before. As we have developed and offered the project management certificate, we've worked hard to structure the program in an easy to digest format. The program is just 6 courses and will provide you the full body of knowledge in the field of project management. The first course, Foundations of Successful Project Management, that's the first course that we recommend that you take. This course is offered every single quarter, meaning that there are 4 entry points into the program every year: summer, spring, fall, and winter. We are currently accepting enrollments for the summer cohort, the deadline and start date for which is June 16th. After taking this initial course, there's flexibility in the order in which you take the remaining courses. However, we do recommend taking Managing Project Risk and Integration as your last course if possible. Let's take a little sneak peek into what you will be learning in these courses. In the first course, Foundations of Successful Project Management, you will be going through the fundamentals, as the course title suggests, which include initiating projects, estimating project scope, creating project plans, and creating work breakdown structures. As mentioned before, the rest of these courses can be taken in any order. In establishing higher functioning project teams and managing resources, that's going to involve how to manage the teams involved with your project, how to align them, how to communicate effectively with stakeholders that might be coming from a variety of business units within an organization. Managing time and cost management will enable you to explore and estimate the costs and time resources a project may take up. In controlling quality in project management, you will learn to evaluate internal and external data from engineers, customers, sales, or marketing to understand the quality of your projects. It'll go over the project management philosophies of prevention over inspection and continuous improvement. Next, in navigating project procurement, we discuss how project managers go about acquiring the necessary products, services, software, and components to ensure a successful project. And you'll learn how to manage the relationships you make with these vendors and the types of negotiating agreements you may run into. Finally, in our course we suggest that you take last, Managing Project Risk and Integration, you'll review projects for risk and you will learn how to identify, analyze, and control for project risks that you might foresee. Since our instructors created this course with real-world experience in mind, these are the 6 courses and the topics that will enable you to have the full breadth of knowledge needed to become a project manager or round off your project management knowledge. Now that we've talked a bit about the program, I want to make sure you also had some online and digital resources to refer to as well. So I will be posting in the chat a program fact sheet, which will be in the form of a PDF. And then I will also be sending some links to our FAQ and our homepage as well. Hyperlinks, oh, they're working. Just kidding. I was just about to preface that with hyperlinks aren't working, but they're working today. So those are the 2 links for the homepage and the program FAQ. So moving on, this program is going to be a time commitment, no matter where you're coming from. If you're intending to enroll in this program, I want you to be fully aware of what to expect when it comes to your time. 5 of the 6 courses mentioned before are all asynchronous, meaning that any assignments, quizzes, exams, any lectures, those can all be completed anytime before their due date at no specific time. You're going to have 24/7 access to Canvas, as Tony mentioned, and 24/7 access to course materials. These courses give you the freedom to schedule your education how you want, allowing you to take and complete these courses in tandem with taking care of anything else going on in your personal life. We wanted to design the course so that it would work around your schedule and not the other way around. You can expect to spend around 8 to 10 hours per week on completing assigned coursework per class. When considering taking this program and when considering how many classes you're enrolling in, please keep these time commitment requirements in mind and make sure you are setting yourself up for success to complete the certificate program. Let's talk a little bit more about timeline for the program and how you can get started. So there's 2 paths to earning your certificate, both with different timeline and financial expectations. So the first one is that you can go at your own pace, paying as you go for the program. Each course is $1,100, and there's a $125 certification fee that you will pay at the beginning of the program for a total of $6,725. This path provides the most flexibility time-wise, as this path gives you a 5-year period to complete all 6 courses. This path is for you if you are pursuing project management education, but also may have plans, events, work, or anything else scheduled that prevents you from taking a course or two every single quarter. To get the certificate in this path, you must complete all 6 courses with a C or better in a 5-year time frame. You can also always choose this path, but still finish the program in 9 to 12 months if that ends up working better for you. The second path through our certificate is our Fast Track program. This program's for you if you are full speed ahead on getting your project management certificate. This path provides less flexibility with your time and course schedule because we're giving you an accelerated course schedule. You would need to complete 2 courses in summer quarter of 2025, 2 courses in fall quarter of 2025, 1 course in winter quarter of 2026, and finally take the last course in spring quarter of 2026. We're going to take a closer look at this schedule on the next slide, so don't worry about writing that down right this second. But what you should know is that this program, or this path on the program, costs $5,610, which is 15% off the At Your Own Pace fee and waives the $125 certification fee. For the Fast Track program, you must pay in full upfront to receive that discount. It's important to note, too, that you can only use one type of discount per program. So if you choose to use the Fast Track path, it is not compatible with other discounts. One more note for both programs and final cost: textbooks are separate and run around $350. For more clarity, I'll go over the Fast Track schedule starting this cohort, summer 2025, and then we'll go over an example of an At Your Own Pace schedule so you can see what that looks like. So this is the predetermined accelerated schedule for the Fast Track course starting in summer of 2025. So in summer quarter of 2025, you'll take Foundations of Successful Project Management and Navigating Project Procurement, followed by fall quarter of 2025, where you'll take Establishing Higher Functioning Project Teams and Managing Resources and Controlling Quality in Project Management. One thing to note is that you can expect to spend around 16 to 20 hours per week on these courses in summer and fall quarter. Please keep this in mind when considering going at your own pace or utilizing the Fast Track option. Winter quarter 2026, you'll take Managing Time and Cost Management. And finally, in spring quarter of 2026, you'll be taking Managing Project Risk and Integration. The Fast Track program will wrap up in 12 months on this schedule, so you'll be able to finish your project management certificate within 1 year on this path. Following that up with an example of an At Your Own Pace schedule. So like I said before, this is just one way you can go through this certificate at this down this path. That's the nice thing about At Your Own Pace, is that it is absolutely at your own pace, and you can fit in courses wherever you can over a 5-year period. So this example is just one that I made up, but you can create your own custom schedule by reviewing the program fact sheet PDF that I sent in the chat, which tells you what quarters we offer each class. So in this example, you'll start out this quarter with your first course, Foundations of Successful Project Management, but you aren't able to dedicate the necessary time to any courses during the upcoming fall and winter quarter. So you start up again in spring quarter of 2026, where you have enough time to take one more course. The upcoming summer, you have no trips planned, business is going to be slow, so you front load some of the time commitment and take 2 courses in summer quarter. You have another busy fall and winter, so you start back up in spring quarter of 2027, and finally take the last course in the fall of 2027. Like I said, this is just one example, but I like to make it just to show you what the possibilities look like, what a course schedule could look like when you go down the certificate at this path. Once again, review that fact sheet PDF to see which quarters each course is offered so that you can create a schedule around your own personal needs. Okay, so now that we've gone over some of what the program looks like from a time commitment side, let's talk about the financials of this certificate program. So first and foremost, to show our appreciation for you attending this information session, you qualify for $100 off the project management certificate just by using the code FREEINFO at checkout. That is FREEINFO in all caps. Please note that this is not compatible with other discounts, including the Fast Track option if you choose to go that route. This would be compatible with the At Your Own Pace path, but can only be applied once. Moving on, if you are interested in exploring funding support, please contact our Student Affairs team. You'll want to make sure you begin this process well in advance of enrolling. The enrollment deadline is coming up on June 16th. So if you are interested in exploring funding support, I would do this right after this call if you can. If you need private loans, government assistance such as GI Bill or VA funding, if you qualify for WIOA or SETA or are interested in exploring any other financial assistance options, please visit our Financing Your Education page, which I am going to put in the chat now. And since hyperlinks are so kindly working today, this should work. And that's when they decide to not work. That's okay. I have a backup. So after you review that website, if you have any further questions regarding financing your education, you can email cpeinfo@ucdavis.edu, or you can call 530-757-8777. One thing to note is that this program does not qualify for FAFSA or Title IV funds. All right. As I mentioned earlier, we can finally take the pin out of the PMP certification. I want to share more information about how this program ties in with PMI and potentially going on to get your PMP certification. Our program is an authorized training provider for the Project Management Institute. They are the distributors of the PMP exam and certification. This means that we agreed to abide by PMI established quality assurance criteria. So being that we are an authorized training provider by the PMI, our program fulfills the PMP educational requirement of 35 hours of project management education or training. And that's one of the requirements across the board to sit for the PMP exam. So if you are an individual seriously considering taking the PMP exam, our course has the project management body of knowledge, PMBOK, as part of the curriculum. And that's partially what the PMP exam is based on. However, I would recommend also taking a PMP exam prep course after this certification. This course is not specifically designed to prep you for the PMP exam, although many of our graduates go on to sit for the PMP exam. The end goal of our courses is to cover the information you will need to work successfully as a professional project manager in the real world. And while the PMBOK is a part of our course, you will also be studying other project management literature. There are different sets of requirements depending on education and years of work experience, so be sure to investigate the requirements to sit for the PMP exam at their website on the slide in front of you. In addition to that, there's some benefits to getting the certification if you're not already aware of it. The PMI estimates that project managers who are PMP certified make $14,000 more annually than their non-PMP certified counterparts. You'll also notice that on our instructor dossier slide that every single one of our instructors are PMP certified. So just to recap, we fulfill one of the requirements to get your PMP certification, which is 35 hours of project management training. And while we're not specifically prepping you to take the PMP exam, many of our graduates go on to sit for the PMP exam. And once again, and just to be clear, a PMP certification is in no way a requirement to be a project manager. That is a direct outcome of a certification like ours, but it can help you down the road as a project manager. For full educational and work experience requirements, please review the PMI's website. Once again, that's on the slide. Right before we're almost done on the main content before we get to the Q&A. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about career advancement and networking. So in addition to distributing the PMP certification, the Project Management Institute is a great external resource outside of UC Davis for networking with other project management professionals after becoming a member there. Some of those networking events include chapter dinner meetings, educational workshops, exam prep resources to help you prepare for PMI certifications, and much more. You can join the PMI as a member for $164 a year, and you can join a local chapter for $25 to $35 a year, depending on which chapter it is. Outside of external sources, internally, our certificate program offers direct project management job placement assistance through Tech Systems. That's a national staffing firm providing temporary, temp to permanent, and permanent opportunities in the IT field specifically. You'll simply send your resume to a special email address provided by us after you finish the certification and let them know you are one of our project management students. One of their recruiters will then contact you for the next step. And lastly, all of our instructors are also working in the project management field, as I mentioned before, and you're going to have opportunities for personal interaction with these experienced instructors. Additionally, you'll have the opportunity to network within your courses with students who are at varying levels within the project management field. During the course of the certificate, make sure to capitalize on that unique networking opportunity with both the instructors and your peers. All right, so now that you've heard about our program, I want to give you some next steps. If you are ready to enroll today, you're ready to go, and you want to get your certificate, that is phenomenal, and I'm excited for you. You can do it online at cpe.ucdavis.edu, and then navigating to business and then project management. Alternatively, you can also call our phone room if you'd like to actually talk to someone at 530-757-8777. That's from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. And as a reminder, the deadline to enroll for this course is coming up on June 16th. So make sure to enroll soon if you're planning on it to ensure that you have a seat in the courses. If you are not ready to enroll and you have questions you haven't asked or didn't get answered today, please set up a time with me on my Calendly or send me an email. Both of those are on the screen, and they will be on the screen throughout the Q&A and after the Q&A in case you want to set up a call afterward. In addition to that, I want to give you some expectations for follow-up communication. You should all receive an email from me, including some information about the program, including everything that we talked about today, a link to this recording, the free info discount code, the fact sheet PDF that I shared in the chat, pricing information, the link to the Financing Your Education page that I put in the chat, and then finally my contact information and my Calendly link. If you have any friends or colleagues that you think would be interested in this program, please feel free to send the recording that will be in that email to them as well. All right, so now I want to provide some ample time for the Q&A. If you don't have any questions, there's not going to be any more content discussed as part of the presentation, and you are welcome to leave. If you want to stay for the Q&A, then please do so, but I will open it up now. All right, Jenny asks, did those numbers reflect the large numbers of project management layoffs by tech companies from 2022 to 2024? We pulled that data from 2023, so PMIs, and you're talking about the slide from one of the first few slides. I'm going to go back just so everyone has the same context. This slide. This data, from my understanding, was pulled in 2023, and so it would be reflective of layoffs by tech companies in the 2022 to 2023 range, but probably doesn't account for anything after that. And so these numbers are pulled externally, probably warrants an update, but that is the most up-to-date data we had from the PMI and from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Is there a discount for UC Davis or UCDH employees? Yes, there is a discount for UC Davis employees. There are a couple varying factors to qualify for the discount. Too much to kind of go over on a Zoom call. So what I would recommend is, and I'll go back to the last slide so you can have my contact information. Please send me an email and I can go over the prerequisites to qualify for the UC Davis staff discount. Does the Fast Track program necessarily need to begin this summer 2025? Great question. Great question. No, we have a Fast Track entry point every single quarter. So that is just the entry point and the predetermined schedule for a year from this summer entry point. However, we have an entry point every single quarter for Fast Track. The one thing to note is that the predetermined schedule can change. Since every class is not offered every quarter, the predetermined schedule that I showed you today is specifically for the summer cohort. And so I would consider that if that schedule works for you. There's going to be a different schedule next cohort that will be in that same time frame, 9 to 12 months for the Fast Track. And then let me actually make sure that I get these out. $350 estimated in textbooks per class or total? I believe it is total, but that is a great clarification that I will get from the professors. I will send that in the follow-up email, just so that everyone still on the call knows if it's per class or total. I don't want to tell you, so I'll tell you my leaning right now is that number is representative of the total. That's the information that I've been conveyed, but I would like to get clarification before you actually sign up for a course and you're paying for more than you anticipate. And so I just want to make sure I'm getting you the most accurate information. Let me follow up with the instructor team and then I will get an answer for you, and that will be included in the email sent to everyone. And then let me write a note down as well so that I don't forget. Do UC Davis health employees get a discount? Same answer. I would follow. You may qualify for a discount being a UC Davis health employee. So please reach out to me via email. We can talk about the prerequisites to get that discount. What is the price of the fast track option as a UC Davis employee? This is a great question. So since there is only one discount that can be applied, you would actually be doing the at your own pace to qualify for that UC Davis discount, if that makes sense. So I would recommend the same thing for you and for anyone else curious about the UC Davis discount to please just email me directly so that I can talk to you about the prerequisites. And since it's come up a few times now, there's not a universal qualifier for it. There are some specific circumstances, and so that's why it's just easier to talk one-on-one about both the price point, since there's a couple different ones, and what qualifies you, just to give some more context. Do the courses reach capacity before each sign-up deadline per quarter? Not always. So if you are wanting to wait to enroll or find out more information, you absolutely can. There is that risk, however, that it does fill up. It really varies. The one thing I will say is we tend to get a lot of enrollments on the deadline, and so it's not currently full. It could fill up by then, but it might not. So there's historical precedent for both, for them filling up and for not filling up, and it's not something that we can easily predict. So I always recommend that if you are confident and sure that you want to enroll, to do it at that moment. If you need to wait, if you have further questions, absolutely wait. Reach out to me. I can help answer any of your questions, but I would enroll as soon as you feel comfortable doing so. What is the drop deadline if you choose the fast track option? That is information I should have off the top of my head, but I don't. I can get that in just a second. Let me go through the rest of the questions and I will have that answer for that live. Actually, let me try to get it right now. I'll keep answering the questions while I pull that up. What will be the cost of books and any other material needed for this course? Good question. So $350 is the quoted price. Jenny asked a question earlier about whether that's per course or for the entire 6 courses. I'm going to be following up with that information in the follow-up email that you'll receive from me. I should be able to get that information by tomorrow, and that's when the follow-up email will be coming out anyways. So you can expect it's either going to be $350 for the whole course or per class. I need to get that information from the instructors, and then I will follow up then. If we choose the fast track option and use our UC Davis discount and are laid off, will we be required to pay the difference to finish the course? That is another good question. And because that is a financially related question, I want to make sure I get a very specific and correct answer for you. However, my current understanding is that it only matters upon enrollment. And so you should be safe. However, like I said, I think that is a good question, and I want to make sure I get the exact correct answer from our registrar to make sure that that is accurate. For the fast track schedule, you mentioned we could finish in 9 months. Does that combine the last 2 classes so that you can finish within 9 months? That's a great question. So the reason that I said 9 to 12 months is because depending on when the fast track starts, determines whether it's 9 or 12 months. So the way the courses are scheduled right now, the time frame to finish the course is 12 months with the predetermined schedule. That schedule cannot be altered. However, in September or December or January, or spring of next year, when the other fast track cohorts start, that may be scheduled in a time frame where you have 3 quarters with 2 classes and then 1 quarter with 1 class in order to, I'm sorry, that math doesn't math. You'll have an expedited schedule that will allow for it to fit in 9 months, whether that's 3 courses in a quarter or a different combination of 2 courses over 3 quarters to finish in a 9 month period. Let me know if that answered your question. All right, and I have the deadline right here. The refund deadline, as asked before. So someone asked before, just to recontextualize, what is the drop deadline if you choose the fast track option? The drop deadline is June 30th for a refund. Refunds and enrollment transfers after that date will not be approved. You are very welcome. Can you finish any course faster than scheduled? No, that is a great question. So this is asynchronous, but not self-paced. So what that means is that the courses are going to be gated week by week. So as the lectures, assignments, and exams are completed on a weekly basis, the next week will be released, from Sunday to Sunday or from Saturday to Saturday, whatever the course itself defines as a week. And those will be completed over an 11-week period. So it is not self-paced, but it is asynchronous. Are there any discounts for UC Davis alumni? It's another good question. If you are part of the California Aggie Alumni Association, CAAA, there is a 10% discount on the at your own pace. So if you are a UC Davis alumni and you are a member of the California Aggie Alumni Association, there is a discount. To utilize that discount, if you are a California Aggie Alumni Association member, please shoot me an email, and then we can talk about how to apply and implement that discount at checkout. Will the webinar recording be shared? Yes, it will. So I will send this in a recording tomorrow, along with the other follow-up information that I mentioned, including like the textbook pricing. Does this program provide any resources to take prep exam for PMP exam? That's another good question. And I think we talked a little bit about it before, but essentially, we do not advertise ourselves as prepping you for the PMP exam. The direct learning outcome of this course is that you will be a better project manager or you will learn to be a working project manager. Many of our graduates go on to sit for the PMP exam anyways. And like I mentioned before, PMP certified project managers make $14,000 more annually on average than their non-PMP certified counterparts. And so we believe that both are great in conjunction, but this course is not designed specifically to prep you for the PMP exam. I would recommend, if you are interested in taking this course and getting PMP certification, to take a PMP exam prep course specifically prior to taking that exam. There's a lot of curriculum crossover. You are going to learn things that are on the PMP exam, but we do not advertise ourselves as a PMP exam prep course. And I hope that answered your question. Are there any other discounts other than the ones you mentioned earlier? So for any other discounts, it would be stuff that you would explore through our Financing Your Education webpage in the links. So ways that you can fund your education. But the only discounts that we have for this program are going to be the California Aggie Alumni Association one. They're going to be a UC Davis staff discount, the free info one, and then the fast track one. So those are the discounts that we have for this program. That is a great question. So the question is there any data from past students who took this course to what field they gravitated toward? Construction, IT, federal, etc. We do not currently have this data. Right now we're trying to implement a better way to get access to this data, since it currently relies on self-report, which we have found we're getting our graduates are providing us with maybe 3 to 5% self-report rate, and so the data is not accurate. And so I can't answer that question. I love that kind of question. I love that kind of information, and so I'm looking into a way to get that data a little bit more refined and accurate. But that's a good question. All right, we've currently exhausted the Q&A. And so if you're thinking of other questions to ask, if you have any other questions to ask, I'm going to give it a few minutes. But if not, thanks for attending this information session. As a reminder, you're going to receive a link to this recording either tomorrow or early next week at the worst, as well as all the information I said I would provide earlier. If you have any questions at all that remain unanswered, or you just want to talk a bit more about the program, don't hesitate to set up a call with me at the link on the page. Other than that, thanks for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the class. We did have another question come in. Can the self-paced program be completed in less than 12 months? If yes, would you recommend this in over the fast track program? If your goal is to complete the program as fast as possible, if you want to try to complete it in less than 12 months, I would recommend taking the fast track program over the self-paced. The self-paced, there's nothing preventing you from taking the self-paced program or at your own pace program and taking 3 courses in a quarter if you really wanted to. However, we haven't seen historically a huge success rate with taking that heavy of a course load. So we recommend not doing it. However, every person knows their capacity, their capability, how much time you have. But taking 3 courses in a quarter is about 30 hours of additional work that you can anticipate on top of whatever else you have going on in your life. And so if you did sign up for the self-paced program, you can create your own schedule. That's the beauty of it. But that's the reason that we have that predetermined schedule for the fast track, is that's what we determine people who are looking to get it as fast as possible are really successful in. That's where we're seeing a higher success rate. So I hope that answered your question, but that would be my recommendation. I'm debating if it's worth the extra time and initial cost/maintenance cost for ongoing CE credits membership to be PMI certified. What are your recommendations? If you were just needing the ongoing continuing education credits to maintain, and I guess maybe I'm not super clear, if you're maintaining or trying to get PMP certification, could you clarify? Let me ask you this: are you looking to take this program to get maintenance continuing education credits? If you're still here. What I'll say is, for how I'm interpreting your question, is if you're asking if it's worth taking this program to get maintenance continuing education credits to maintain PMP certification, then I would say no. If you're not looking to become a better project manager or to learn all about the foundations and how to continue to be a successful project manager in the modern world, and you're just trying to get maintenance continuing education credits, this is overkill. Truthfully, this is going to be fantastic information. You're going to learn a lot, but if you just need to maintain a certification, I would look for something that's less time consuming, frankly. I hope that answered your question. All right, I will go ahead and wait just 1 more minute. See if we get any last minute questions rolling in, but I appreciate all of your attendance today. You can expect to get an email from me tomorrow. Of course, no problem. I'm happy to clarify or answer any other questions. Have I enrolled in the PMI chapter? If so, how's being a member contributed to my career development? I have not. I'm actually not a project manager. So I'm more on the recruitment side. And while this course is actually a future professional development goal of mine, and to be PMP certified, I don't have direct experience with the PMI chapters. However, Just as I mentioned before in the presentation, the idea behind them is it's something that you pay into, but it's also going to be something that you have to you put in what you get out of it. There's going to be networking events. There's going to be in-person resources that you're going to have to take advantage of. And so that is it's a great opportunity for the energy you're willing to put into it. No problem, Jenny. Thanks for the great questions. And I will get back to you on the textbook stuff. All right, everybody. If you have any other further questions that didn't get answered, you come up with them tomorrow. Please send me an email at jtready@ucdavis.edu or set up a time on my Calendly. I'm more than happy to talk about this program all day. So with that being said, thanks for joining, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody.